Ladies and gentlemen, the links to the articles I'm citing will be below in the description section. There's going to be a nuclear confrontation, almost certainly. Now, that doesn't mean annihilation, although that's possible. Anything is possible with mashed potato brains, our president. But we already know that Reuters, Russia says it may be forced to deploy mid-range nuclear missiles in Europe. That's an article. That's an article that will be below from December. U.S. troops to deploy to Eastern Europe. That's a couple of days ago. Biden, for some reason, even though there's NATO, and even though we have bases, and even though they have their own defense budgets, sent 3,000 American soldiers to Poland, Germany, and Romania. For what reason? Only for public relations purposes, which will only serve to escalate tensions. Those Americans should remain here, home, with their families, close to their families. Biden has done enough damage. This man has never had a foreign policy success in his life, ever. He voted alongside Bush, Cheney, and Rumsfeld. Then, in President Obama's administration, destroyed a country in Libya. Then presided over, because of his incompetence, the worst military and diplomatic debacle one of the worst in U.S. history. 13 Americans lost their lives. And Alec Baldwin allegedly went after one family, a Gold Star family, if you could believe that, according to one of the latest lawsuits against him, where he just, like the good morally superior liberal Democrat he is, and you know these types of people, actually tried to send Instagram followers to harass a Gold Star family. But anyway, that's according to the latest lawsuit. And that's despite the fact that Biden's incompetence and the absolute incompetence of Jake Sullivan and Blinken and his entire administration caused that debacle. He did not abide by the Doha Agreement, which was negotiated by Trump, which stated a May 1st, 2021 withdrawal. You have to be a complete imbecile and completely ignorant of politics if you say, well, Trump didn't remove Americans, it was Biden. No. Biden did not abide by the agreement that Trump negotiated to reverse U.S. foreign policy. Failed foreign policy of the past 20-plus years. That's why the Lincoln Project, the same people who got us into these never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts, and people like Bill Kristol and others, opposed Trump, because Trump is infinitely less hawkish. He is, the anti-war candidate he always was, or president, compared to Clinton and Biden, President Obama. So, and especially Bush, who, by the way, has a favorable, is viewed in a favorable light now among Democrats. They're the ones who always push for interventions. They're doing it right now again under Biden. So, Belarus leader says he wants Russian nuclear-capable missile systems. This is the other day. The links will be below. Now, The Nation just published an article, which is interesting. Ukraine and the threat of nuclear war. Well, The Nation, along with Mother Jones and other left-leaning publications, that publication used to be very independent. Used to be like a far-left publication decades ago. Now it is just like the Washington Post, New York Times, MSNBC, CNN, BuzzFeed, The Daily Beast, The Atlantic, New York Magazine. The list is endless of all the publications. It's part of the public relations monstrosity, which is an echo chamber of the Democratic Party. So they're the ones who actually pushed for the neoconservative type of foreign policy that Biden has adopted. They are the Vote Blue No Matter Who publication, The Nation, and along with Mother Jones. So they used to be like far left. Now it's just DNC newsletter, just like the Washington Post, the New York Times, and others. It's interesting, though, that they're talking about a nuclear confrontation while Biden is at the helm. And this is the second time in the past, 10, 12 years that we've had this problem. First under President Obama, now Biden. Now, hit subscribe to this channel right now. I talked about this in 2 prior segments. The price of oil is going to get to close to $200 per barrel. There are options already being traded for $200 per barrel oil. I'm not making that up. That's below in the pinned comment also, or the description also. Hit subscribe to this channel. Hit subscribe to the Stock Market Crash channel. I'll have an amazing segment there today. Couple amazing segments. And be here tonight for the live stream around 8 p.m., 9 p.m. Pacific. Now, we're heading towards a nuclear confrontation because all mashed potato brains knows is public relations. That's all. He has no strategy. Vladimir Putin, Russia have a specific, singular goal, objective strategy. They will not let Ukraine in NATO no matter what. And we, unfortunately, along with NATO, convinced or tried to convince the world that we would allow Ukraine into the alliance. President Zelensky of Ukraine not only said that Trump never pressured him, which Democrats ignored and still impeached Trump because they don't care about reality or truth. They impeached him over a speech transcript, okay? Because of the horrifying notion that mashed potato brains was corrupt, which, of course, he is. We know that. But President Zelensky himself stated that he was never pressured by Trump, categorically. And the president before him, Poroshenko, stated the same thing. But President Zelensky recently said, hey, Ukraine wants to join NATO. And Biden was silent as usual. And NATO said, well, you know what, we stand for your right to want to join, but you know what, no, you have to go. You definitely have to stop the corruption, but the corruption wasn't bad enough for Hunter not to make millions of dollars in an oil and gas company. And he's an artist now, so he has no background in that. But anyway, very different from Trump's kids working in real estate. It's not about nepotism. It's about selling access to the government, and they never did. But you have foundations, and you have the kids of presidents or vice presidents making a whole lot of money in corrupt companies in countries now that are being invaded. So Russia is about to, they're going to invade, unfortunately, Ukraine, and we helped foster this environment by pretending we would allow Ukraine in NATO, and by saying, well, they're too corrupt to enter, but we stand up to Russian aggression as we caused this aggression, encircling them with NATO members. So I think it's wrong. I don't want Russia to invade Ukraine, but I think it's also wrong that we helped foster this terrible geopolitical climate. With Trump, this would never have happened, because Trump would never have cared if Ukraine joined NATO. That's a Democratic Party foreign policy establishment, never Trump, neoconservative type of thing. Trump doesn't care about that. He cares about they set him up and framed him with a Steele dossier, and now we have the Durham Probe special counsel indicting 3 people, and they'll indict a lot more. We're heading towards a stock market crash. We're seeing it in slow motion. Everything I've been saying, everything I predicted in my Federalist article last year, the link is below in the pinned comment, has been taking place. You're going to see not only inflation increase, even with the interest rate hikes and the end to quantitative easing. So the Fed tapering this year, the interest rate hikes, oil will break its all-time high of like 147 or so. And so it'll get to 150, 160 and approach 200, very likely. Okay? And I talked about that in the segments prior to this on this channel. Please watch them. This is going to be a catastrophe, and now we have mutually assured destruction as the possible outcome, because this Democratic Party pushed a Red Scare Cold War because they lost. They didn't accept results, and they set up and framed an incoming candidate, and then they complain when he doesn't accept. And so they started all the madness, and they pushed for an end to economic activity. Now we have runaway inflation. Oil is going to approach close to $200 per barrel. The economy's into a recession. We're heading into a recession. The Atlanta Fed said 0.1% GDP for the first quarter of 2022. That's the estimate. Anyway, give me your thoughts below. You have nuclear-capable aircraft already flying over the skies of Eastern Europe, okay, or Belarus, okay? And you have Belarus saying that they want Russia to plant nuclear weapons there. And you have even The Nation now, the article, why do we fail to consider the danger? We fail to consider the danger because half the country is obsessed with Trump's tweets and his personality, even though he was much less hawkish. It was a moral imperative. Listen and try to comprehend this morally superior, apoplectic, hysterical, wonderful, wonderful liberal Democrat who sees nothing but impending doom from climate change and ignores nuclear confrontations. Okay? This is a very simple concept to understand. If you think that Trump's personality is the epitome of what an authoritarian is, and you're okay with trying to silence Joe Rogan and suppress dialogue and debate and discourse and cancel people and stifle discussion and censor everything, and you're okay with military interventions, guess what? This is going to come as a surprise to you. You are the authoritarian, not Trump, not Trump's supporters. But this concept is very difficult for the morally superior among us. It's impossible for them. It's impossible for them to look in the mirror. Even a mushroom cloud, God forbid, would be less egregious than Trump's tweets because they've completely lost it. Anyway, give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now to this channel. It's a real problem, ladies and gentlemen. Mutually assured destruction is a real problem. We learned about this in history class. Well, we learned about this in life. If you were born before 1985 or 1980, you know exactly what's going on. If you think that, I can go on forever. Hit subscribe right now to this channel. Be here tonight at around 8:39 p.m. Pacific for the live stream. We have epic live streams. Thank you.